Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today I want to talk about crypto lending versus crypto staking. Not necessarily the actual difference between the two, because I've covered this before, but how they're advertised and marketed by large institutions, exchanges, and really just anyone who's making profit off of likely to be you. The big thing here is that whether you're, lending through a smart contract or lending directly on a platform, or you're staking on a platform, or you're staking directly from a non-custodial wallet that you own and control, all of these have different caveats and, they affect how you'll need to require KYC, how decentralized it is, if you really have the ownership or if the exchange has it on your behalf. All these different things have a massive impact on your wealth and your finance, which is important to understand. So I think it's very disingenuous for major exchanges like crypto.com, Binance, to be out here saying things like staking or earning or using terminology similar to staking, DeFi staking, all these buzzwords, to make people think that they're staking when really what they're doing is lending. A lot of this can be unearthed by digging around in the FAQ or their terms and conditions, but it's very much not obvious when you get started. I think it's very important to explain the differences because it does make a huge difference, especially in terms of ownership, access, KYC requirements, and decentralization. So very important for people who are really gung-ho on the values behind blockchain. And we're going to dive into all that, go through a few examples in just a quick moment after a word from my sponsor. A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor, Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android. Thanks again to my sponsor. So let's jump right in. A great example of this was Crypto.com's DeFi wallet. Now I'm going to share my screen just to cover a little bit of my information here because I have a lot to go through, and then I'll actually go through and show you the FAQ that explains this. So they have TUSD on Crypto.com's DeFi wallet, and you're supposedly able to get 19.26% from staking it. Here's the three things that I noted. This is what kind of started this whole video and this journey to looking into what is really staking and what is really lending, because it seems very interchangeably used in a misleading way. Three things that were obvious to me. You shouldn't be able to stake certain coins that they are staking. Like the coin natively does not have the ability to stake. That's probably the most obvious way to know that you're lending, not staking. Or you could be doing liquidity providing, but more than likely lending. Stablecoins offering returns. Again, that is something that is suspicious if it's supposedly staking, because again, stablecoins are not based on a staking consensus. For example, just like mining or staking, they're doing things to then earn that crypto to secure the network. But no one is earning stablecoins as far as I'm aware, at least for, like the traditional ones like Tether, etc. Because it's supposed to just be a one-to-one backing with real dollars, not someone staking and generating TUSD or USDT rather out of nowhere, and then they get to have that. No, because it has to all be backed one-to-one. So it's not like someone's going in and putting money in every time they pay the stakers. That's not what's happening. I'm 99% sure that almost all stablecoins are not stakeable, at least fiat-pegged stablecoins, because, we could get into, HBD, which you can sort of stake in a way, more so just you hold it in a 3-day locked up savings account, which gives you 10% a month. That's really, really great. But that's not fiat pegged. As far as I know, for all the fiat pegged ones, it should just be a one-to-one backing and that's it. So you shouldn't get returns from stablecoins. And the returns are way above what the coin natively offers. Natively just being like, if I stake a coin in a wallet that is native to that coin. So for example, when I stake my Tron on TronLink, you've only got a certain amount of percentage that you're able to get based on voting for super representatives. If somehow someone was like, oh, well, I can get you double that on such and such exchange. Well, they're not magically double staking your Tron. They're lending it out at a higher rate of interest and then paying you that instead. So, you can get more money from lending. That is true, but it's very risky, and a lot of times they take the actual crypto from you and hold it themselves. So they go bankrupt if they get hacked, if the person running the exchange becomes malicious and steals it all. All of these things have happened many times to major exchanges, and even exchanges like Binance have gotten caught up in very, very sketchy things in the past that I would say are even more egregious than a lot of things that I've seen. And people kind of just forgot about it. Back, I think it was 2 years ago now, when they helped Justin Sun do a hostile takeover of Steam. Very, very, very sketchy stuff, but, they got a pass on that. Anyways, going back to what we wanted to cover here, I want to show you guys the FAQ that actually explains where this money is coming from. Because, again, a lot of people would come in here thinking, oh, I can earn and it's DeFi and da-da-da-da. It's like they think they're staking, but 99% of this is lending. And it's very, very obfuscated. And the only way you could find it is in this one article in their FAQ. So you can see here that with all these coins, you're just lending. It says right here. With Cosmos, you're actually staking and delegating. With these coins, including TUSD, which is the one that's 19%. Again, you are lending. CRO, you can actually stake. And for everything here, again, you are lending. So, the only two things that you're actually staking are CRO and Atom. And everything else is just lending. So, you do not want to be in that situation because, again, even with smart contract lending, which is infinitely better than just giving it to them, you could still have issues. I don't like lending as an all-around concept because it's just not an ideal way for me to make money personally. I don't want to give my money away and hope I can get it back and hope there's no issues along the way, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not for me. Staking is a much better way to do it on your own with no intermediary. Everything that you're doing is by yourself. It's just a much better process when you're not involving other people and you have to use like their exchange or their platforms. You're opening up to all this new risk. I don't think it's a good idea personally. I've also linked a guide on staking. This covers a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about. It talks about some caveats, some specific examples of staking, gives you a lot of great information here. And I would actually argue that CoinMarketCap has some of the best guides in the business for anything that you're looking for. If you can't find it from me personally. So they don't really touch on blockchain social, but for the average kind of stuff, NFTs, staking, etc., consensus models, really, really good article that they have on here. A lot of that stuff can be found here and it's fantastic. So going back to my notes here. So we've covered all this for, the main thing that I wanted to talk about for crypto.com, because again, this is what sort of set me off on this journey to find out what is really lending and what is really staking. Because again, I was coming off of the hunch of, I honestly think none of this is really staking and 99% of it is lending. And it seems that I was correct in my assumption. So I do want to, stop here and say, I think the issue is when you have something like Binance or Crypto.com DeFi wallet leading you to believe that you're staking when you're lending. I don't think it's an issue for you to go on BlockFi, actual Crypto.com, not the DeFi wallet, Nexo, Celsius, etc., where they do fully say this is a lending platform, that's what this is for. That's not really misleading. Although, what is misleading about these platforms and any exchange that does this is KYC after deposit. So they let you put money in, then when you want to take it out, and you could put money in for years and build up $100,000, and then when you want to withdraw, then they say, oh, you have to provide us all your documentation. I've actually seen many, many instances where people provide documentation and they say, oh, sorry, that's not good enough. Send something else, send something else, send something else. And they just put them down this rabbit hole. And then eventually, you just never get the money out. I've been notified about this from many, many different people, many, many different exchanges. Not saying any of these are necessarily culprits, but when I was using BlockFi, I tried to withdraw afterwards, and then I had to KYC. I think KYC of any kind is really against the ethos of crypto. And again, another great reason why you should not patronize any kind of exchange or service that requires KYC to do lending, because even to just withdraw my money from BlockFi, I had to re-KYC. So I had to go through the whole process again, and then I had to wait a day or two for them to review it just to get my money out. You should never be subject to, crazy waits to just access your funds. And as we saw with the recent crash in crypto, I think we saw like negative 15 to 20% in like an hour. If you're waiting days to get your crypto out, that could be the difference of, an insane amount of money that you're losing. So, these small little things make all the difference at the end of the day. When it really comes down to the really important moments when you need to quickly sell at the top or whatever, some of this stuff is going to be very, very impactful. A lot of these also have minimum withdrawals, fees. You got to ask permission to withdraw, all these different things. And, like I mentioned, they could get hacked. All these different things can happen. They get sued, go bankrupt, have SEC problems. So many different issues. A lot of them also call it soft staking. This is another buzzword that really isn't staking. Again, it's just, it's like the same thing as what I've been talking about. So like soft staking, DeFi staking, just earning. A lot of these are alluding to lending. And I'm not necessarily saying that any platform that uses these terms is doing this, but if they're misleading you to think that you're really just dropping your crypto in and you're not lending it out, I think that's, false advertising, misleading, malicious, manipulative, etc. And I don't think anyone should be using any centralized exchanges for any trading or lending or anything like that. You should always be using a non-custodial wallet or some sort of decentralized service or product to allow you to do these things on your own, because that's the point of cryptocurrency. It's eliminating the middleman, trustless transactions, essentially. So, as I was saying, a lot of this can be done through a native wallet for that network or from various DeFi wallets. But you have to, make sure that it's actually doing what you think it's doing. So, for example, on the Trust wallet, I can stake Atom, I can stake BNB, etc. And it's actually staking it versus lending it. And that's a great example of actually staking. Another good example is, like I mentioned before, with Tron or Hive. You can stake Cardano. There's many different things that you can stake directly on a wallet that is connected to that, or through a DeFi wallet that is hooked up to that. But most of the time, I would say you're going to end up doing lending. There's also staking as a service platforms like MyCointainer, and there's a few others. I'm pretty sure they generally need either ownership of your crypto, or they charge huge fees, or, it's generally not done through a smart contract. So it's still just as risky. So I would avoid that as well. A couple, examples, I guess. Actually, you know what? We might as well I might as well actually bring it up and show you guys to give you a better idea. So if we go and take a look at my Hive wallet, you can see that I've got 1,200 Hive. I'm delegating out 1,139. I'm earning around 10% on this through D-lease. And then on top of that, I get 2.89%. So close to 13%. You can see that D-lease is paying me out every day from my delegations. So that is a great way to earn passive income. You do have to lock this up for a while, and it powers down in 13-week intervals, 1/13 every week. Whereas HBD, you just have to wait 3 days to get it out. So this is a much easier and more liquid way to do this, and you get a full 10% on this. However, this is only claimable every month. This is paid out every single day, so you could keep powering up and trying to compound that more effectively than you could with HBD. That's just one example. One other example here is my Tron wallet. I don't know why it's saying 0 there. I've got 21,000 Tron right here. It's all staked. I guess we can quickly go in here. So you can see that it's staked. If I show you all my resources, you can see I've got 12 Tron that I've earned since my last withdrawal. You know, it's simple, but it works. You get your money. You just keep claiming every now and then, repowering this up, and then, you know, just continuing this process. I always leave like 1 on the side just in case. But, you know, it looks a little complex with all the signing of things and all this extra stuff, but it's very, very basic. And then I go to vote, and I just update my votes for my super representatives on the highest APR, so I get the best amount. I know some people might, you know, you should vote for this, you should vote for this, etc., etc. But I generally just delegate to whatever is doing the most, because you know what, I don't really care enough to look into all of these. I'll just take whatever's paying out the best at the time. So 6.97%, easy enough, right? These are 2 examples of staking from a decentralized wallet. It is 100% owned by me. It's also done through smart contracts, and you know, basically everything that I need to do is done. An amazing thing with Tron is you lock it up for 3 days, and then after those 3 days, you can unstake it anytime instantly. So it's extremely liquid. Lots and lots of great things for me to say about Tron. I just don't like Justin Sun, the founder, and yeah, I'm sure a lot of you know that by now. But yeah, so that's a good breakdown of some examples for staking. Let's see what else I have to cover here. Yeah, so typically some things just to note about staking. There's typically lockup periods, like I was saying, with Hive and with all those different caveats. So a lockup period is how long you have to wait for it before it's available again. So with Tron, it has a 3-day lockup. For a stake out, that's how long it takes for you to get it out after it's been staked. So for HBD, that's 3 days. For Hive Power, that's 13 weeks, 1/13 paid out each week. So there's a little bit of caveats there for you to keep in mind. There's also sometimes minimum requirements to start staking or for claiming rewards, depending on, you know, what networks you're using, etc. And yeah, so it's just something that you might want to keep in mind. I won't get into all the nitty gritty. I just explained everything about Hive. One other example of, you know, confusion between lending and staking I found was USDN staking, because, you know, someone was wondering, how is this able to offer more than 10% yield if it's staking? The trick was that it's 100% backed by waves. And when you're earning USDN, you're really just selling waves and then getting the yield from the waves token. So, I mean, this is kind of insignificant because, you know, USDN is not, you know, widely used. It's not super popular. But I just thought this was another good example to illustrate what I'm talking about, where it looks like it's like, oh wow, like I have this stable coin I can stake and can get almost 14% interest. That sounds fantastic. But really, it's not, a normal stable coin, because all the proceeds are coming from its backing of waves. It's all backed by waves. And you only find this by going through the FAQ. And here's the thing. You'll get a group of people that will say, oh, well, it was in the FAQ in the terms and conditions, so just read them. Don't be so foolish. But no one reads an FAQ before using a platform. No one goes through the terms and conditions. Let's just be realistic rather than saying, oh, everyone's ignorant. Well, no, I mean, terms and conditions are purposefully made to be too long so that, I believe the statistic was, you'd spend 20% of your entire year just reading terms of service, reports, or, the full terms of service. It would take you a huge portion of your entire year just to read the amount that you would have to read for that year. And essentially proving that it's completely unrealistic that people are going to read these, let alone even skim through them. So, I just think it's silly when someone brings that up as an argument against what I'm saying. It's like, oh, well, it was in the FAQ, it was in the terms and conditions. Yeah, but it's hidden in there and it's obviously misleading. You're telling people that you're staking, you're really lending, but it was in the FAQ hidden away. That is sketchy. The same way that I've said with Theta, where it's they're stealing your bandwidth and they're giving you T-Fuel, but you can't do anything with the T-Fuel because you can't withdraw. And it's well, they are paying you, so what's the problem? It's in the FAQ. Why is that a problem? It's because it's obviously manipulating people who are not going to go and do the extra research, who are going to read. You're just trying to take advantage of lazy and stupid people, which, I mean, some people would say, oh, well, if you're being lazy or stupid, then you get what you get. But I would say the whole point of people like me on the internet and, people who do similar things is we're trying to help all people do the best that they possibly can in the crypto space. And if part of that is just being aware that some terms and service and FAQs have a lot of sketchy stuff in there, then maybe at the very least, this is serving as an awareness piece for people to just be more aware of what's going on. But again, here, they say that it's all just coming from waves and it's done through a smart contract. So, yeah, and they say it's decentralized, right? Very, very sketchy. I don't really care about USDN. I don't really use it. I just thought that this was another good example for me to refer to. After all the research I've done, I can very confidently say that 99% of things that say staking of some kind, earning, whatever, 99% of that is lending, unless it's on a decentralized, non-KYC, non-custodial wallet or DeFi related product of some kind, and at least using smart contracts or just done natively through that network, not through some sort of platform or service or whatever. So I think this is just really important for people to understand that differentiation and better protect your money and just be aware of what you're getting into if you are getting into lending, thinking it's staking, or maybe you're just into lending and you're like, look, I'm okay with the extra risk. It's just good to know what you're fully getting into before you do. I would always recommend against most lending because you should always be using things that don't have KYC. You have the full ownership. Same with don't leave your crypto on exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. And, there could be other issues and other, things of risk that you might get into with these various coins. And I just don't think it's worth all that extra risk. You're better off just staking. I'm going to be diving into more staking coins. As I said previously, going into 2022, I'll be much more focused again on growing my passive income. So I'm going to be looking more into various coins, testing out how they perform like I used to do back in the day. I'm going to be diving right back into that and reporting it all for you guys on my monthly investing updates. So do stay tuned for that. I will eventually do a video comparing all of them and sharing my favorite coins to stake. That's everything. Let me know. What are you staking? Are you doing any lending? What do you think of the kind of like misleading use of staking and lending? Do you even care? Are you still going to lend? Are you still going to stake? What are you guys doing to earn your passive crypto income? Let me know in the comments below. And if you did watch to the very end, I always appreciate it. You can comment #1ham in the comments below. And that way I know that you did watch to the very, very end. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.